The CIA's involvement in JFK's assassination is a conspiracy theory that has intrigued many for decades. We've all heard the whispers, the hushed conversations that speak of a plot far grander and more complex than a lone gunman. But where did these whispers start? And why, after all these years, do they still persist? The assassination of President John F. Kennedy on that fateful day in November of 1963 was a moment that shocked the world. The official narrative tells us that it was the work of a solitary man, Lee Harvey Oswald. This conclusion comes from the Warren Commission, a team of investigators appointed to look into the tragic event. Yet, from the moment their report was published, doubts have lingered. The public's skepticism towards the Warren Commission's conclusion has been fueled by a myriad of factors. There are those who point to the Commission's investigation, claiming it was too quick, too shallow, and too ready to pin the blame on a single person. Others argue that the very nature of the event, the assassination of a beloved president in broad daylight, demands a more intricate explanation than a lone gunman. And then, there are the numbers. The sheer volume of potential culprits put forward by conspiracy theorists is staggering. 42 groups, 82 assassins, and 214 individuals have all been suggested as possible accomplices or masterminds behind the assassination. Yet, there is no agreement on who else may have been involved. This lack of consensus, combined with the public's general skepticism, has allowed the conspiracy theory to evolve and persist over the years. So, with this backdrop of mystery and suspicion, where does the CIA fit into this intricate web? The notion of the CIA's involvement in Kennedy's assassination is not a new one. It has been a part of the conspiracy theory narrative almost since the very beginning. But why? What evidence, if any, points towards this clandestine agency? And how do they respond to these accusations? The answers to these questions are not simple, and they are not agreed upon, but they are part of a larger story, a story that continues to intrigue, to captivate, and to provoke thought and debate. The story of JFK's assassination is a story that is far from over. It is a story that continues to unfold even now, 60 years later. And it is a story that we will continue to explore together in the hope of finding some semblance of truth amidst the shadows of doubt and uncertainty. So with this backdrop of mystery and suspicion, where does the CIA fit into this intricate web? To understand the conspiracy, we must first delve into the complex relationship between JFK and the CIA. Picture this, it's the early 60s. John F. Kennedy, the young and charismatic president, is at odds with the Central Intelligence Agency, the country's premier covert operations organization. The relationship between the two was far from harmonious, marked by distrust and veiled hostility. The Bay of Pigs invasion in April 1961 was a pivotal moment. The unsuccessful attempt to overthrow Fidel Castro's communist regime in Cuba was a CIA-backed operation. Kennedy, feeling misled by the CIA, took the fall for the fiasco. This incident eroded the already strained relationship between the president and the intelligence agency. Kennedy was quoted as saying he wanted to splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces and scatter it into the winds. In the corridors of the CIA, these words did not sit well. The agency was already on edge, dealing with the perceived threat of communism. The president's intent to dismantle it could have been seen as a direct threat to national security, or so some in the agency might have thought. This growing animosity created a divide, casting a shadow over the Kennedy administration. In this climate of mistrust and suspicion, the seeds of conspiracy were sown. If the president was seen as an obstacle to the functioning of the CIA, would they have taken drastic measures to remove this obstacle? This is where the theory takes a darker turn. Rumors began to circulate, whispers of discontent within the agency, of plots and schemes. These rumors, whether true or not, added fuel to the fire of conspiracy. The idea that the CIA could have been involved in the assassination of JFK was not so far-fetched for those who believed in the agency's animosity towards the president. This tension forms the basis of the conspiracy theory that the CIA had a motive to assassinate JFK. Now, let us examine the evidence that suggests a possible CIA involvement in JFK's assassination. First off, let's talk about the alleged CIA cover-up. Many conspiracy theorists point to the Warren Commission report as evidence of this. The commission, established by President Lyndon B. Johnson, concluded in 1964 that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. However, a later investigation by the House Select Committee on Assassinations in 1979 suggested that Kennedy was likely assassinated in a conspiracy and that Oswald did not act alone. This divergence of findings is seen by some as evidence of a cover-up. There's also the suspicious deaths of key figures. Jack Ruby, the man who shot Oswald, died of a sudden illness while awaiting a new trial. Some suggest that his death was convenient for those who might have wanted to silence him. Oswald himself was killed just 2 days after Kennedy's assassination, before he could stand trial. His death fueled suspicions of a larger plot, as it meant he could no longer provide any information or defend himself against the charges. Furthermore, the actions of CIA officials after the assassination have been called into question. For instance, James Jesus Angleton, the head of the CIA's counterintelligence department, is said to have taken control of the agency's response to the assassination. Angleton was known for his deep paranoia and obsession with mole hunts within the CIA. His handling of the JFK investigation has been criticized as being overzealous and secretive, further feeding into the conspiracy theories. Lastly, there's the CIA's alleged involvement with the Mafia and anti-Castro Cuban groups. These connections have led some to theorize that the CIA could have used these groups to carry out the assassination. The CIA's well-documented attempts to assassinate Castro are often cited as evidence of the agency's willingness to engage in such actions. But it's important to note that these pieces of evidence are not definitive proof. Many of them rely heavily on circumstantial evidence and the interpretation of events. The CIA has consistently denied any involvement in the assassination, and many of the theories about their involvement have been debunked by various investigations over the years. While these pieces of evidence are compelling, they are also controversial and have been the subject of intense debate. So it's up to you to weigh the evidence, consider the sources, and decide for yourself what you believe. However, just as there is evidence suggesting the CIA's involvement, there are also counter-arguments and refutations. On one hand, we have the absence of definitive proof. The conspiracy theories surrounding JFK's assassination are indeed compelling, but they lack concrete evidence. All the claims of the CIA's involvement are based on conjecture and circumstantial evidence. Without definitive proof, the CIA's involvement remains a theory, not a fact. Then, we have the Warren Commission's conclusion. This official investigation into JFK's assassination concluded that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. The commission painstakingly sifted through countless documents, testimonies, and pieces of evidence. They concluded that Oswald, acting of his own volition, was the sole perpetrator of the crime. The commission found no evidence of a conspiracy involving the CIA or any other organization. Further, criticisms of the conspiracy theory itself are worth noting. Critics argue that these theories are based on a distrust of government, not on factual evidence. They believe that these theories are an attempt to make sense of a senseless act, to create a villain when there may not be one. Critics also point to the fact that the alleged CIA cover-up would have required hundreds, if not thousands, of people to keep a secret for over 6 decades, a feat they argue is highly unlikely. Moreover, even within the conspiracy theorist community, there is no consensus. Some theorists believe the Mafia was involved. Others point fingers at Vice President Lyndon B. Johnson or Cuban Prime Minister Fidel Castro. The sheer number of groups and individuals accused in various conspiracy scenarios, 42 groups, 82 assassins, and 214 individuals, suggests a lack of agreement and clarity. These counter-arguments serve to demonstrate the complexity and contentious nature of this conspiracy theory. With all these conflicting information and viewpoints, how can one form a clear opinion on this matter? It's like trying to find your way through a labyrinth with countless paths leading in different directions. The solution? Dig deeper. Dive into the ocean of knowledge that is available at your fingertips. Read those dusty old books, scour the internet, watch documentaries, and listen to the experts. But don't stop there. Always question what you see, what you hear, what you read. Critical thinking is your compass in this labyrinth. Don't accept anything at face value. Scrutinize, analyze, and most importantly, open your mind to different possibilities. Forming an opinion is not about choosing a side. It's about understanding the complexities of the issue at hand. It's about recognizing that the truth might be somewhere in between, or perhaps something completely different. And as you delve deeper into the world of conspiracy theories, remember this: the truth is often stranger than fiction. So keep an open mind, stay curious, and always question everything. Remember, in the world of conspiracy theories, nothing is ever as simple as it seems.